Welcome, I'm Jackson Bell.
And I'm Tamara Bell.
And you're listening to our podcast, Talking Movies with My Mom, where I, talk about movies with my mom. And just so you know, there will be spoilers.
Happy birthday, Jackson!
Aww, thanks, Mom.
Sure.
And in celebration of all birthdays, today we're talking about our favorite birthday movies. So, Mom, which one did you pick?
Before I tell you which one I picked, we have to give a shout out to the queen of all birthday movies, 16 Candles. And for the three of you who haven't seen this movie, which we highly suggest you do, 16 Candles is about high school sophomore Samantha Baker, who is incredulous when her family forgets her 16th birthday because they're all wrapped up, running around, preparing for her older, beautiful, totally self-absorbed sister Jenny's wedding the next day. Lots of craziness happens in only the way John Hughes could manifest it. But the best part for me is the ending. And I just have to say that everyone deserves a Jake Ryan. Now, that's clearly a quintessential birthday movie, but today I want to go with another one of my favorites, 13 Going on 30. In a nutshell, nerdy schoolgirl Jenna Rink's 13th birthday party doesn't exactly go the way that she envisions. Exasperated and a little devastated, she wishes she were 30 years old like the models in her favorite magazine. With the help of magic wishing dust, of course, because it's her birthday, her wish comes true and chaos ensues. Now, birthday boy, this was the first time you've seen this movie. What did you think?
So, first of all, I'm not a fan of rom-coms. Some are fine, but I think most tend to feel like a lot of like lame sitcoms, where it's just a lot of unfunny jokes and just weird perceptions of love and romance. Now, when I first heard about this movie, I thought it was going to be a gender-swapped ripoff of Big, the Tom Hanks movie. I thought it was going to be about a woman who wished she was an adult, a teenager who wished she was an adult. She got a wish, and she has to go around New York with a still teenage friend, learning how to be an adult. Wacky shenanigans ensue. I thought this is going to be very average at best. But then I saw the movie, and I realized that actually it was more of a time travel movie. I was like, wait, everything changes, not just her. Okay, this could be interesting. And it was. It wasn't a deep movie, but it was cute. It was a very cute movie that had good energy to it, and I thought it was funny.
You know what's funny about that, Jackson, is that in the notes that I was taking while I was watching this movie for the gazillionth time with you, I wrote down, Jay's chuckling. So I was like, oh my God, he's actually laughing at some of the parts of this movie. So you're caught.
I guess so. So I want to talk a bit, before we begin our deep dive into this movie, I want to talk a bit about the movie's director, Gary Winnick, who sadly passed away in 2011 from brain cancer. Now, while he became later known in his life for directing rom-coms like this movie and his final movie, Letters to Juliet.
Which I love. Let me just say, I love Letters to Juliet, by the way. That's a great movie.
Okay, good. At least he went off on a good note.
He totally did.
His first movie was the exact opposite. It was a violent horror movie from 1989 called Curfew, which was about two outlaw brothers who escaped jail and then torture and murder the people who got them convicted.
So totally not the exact opposite of 13 Going on 30. And although you haven't seen Letters to Juliet, they don't have any like brother outlaws torturing people in that movie either.
Oh, they don't? Well,
no.
Guess I'm not going to see it. So the film that came after was a thriller called Out of the Rain. And then after that is when he started doing romantic dramas, which ultimately culminated in his worst movie, Bride Wars, which is a topic for another day.
And I haven't seen Bride Wars because I have only so much time and I don't really want to devote it to that.
Yeah, it's really terrible. Which, again, thankfully he made Letters to Juliet after, so he doesn't have to have the unfortunate curse of his final movie being his worst movie.
Right. Yes.
So all I want to say is between all this and the Charlotte's Web movie he did in 2006, I believe, Mr. Winnick had a very interesting career path.
Absolutely.
Also, can I say a shout out to the dated Rudy Giuliani cameo? Between that and anger management, the early 2000s were a really different time.
You know, one of my favorite scenes of this movie is at the beginning, right? When she's sitting in the closet, she's rocking back and forth. Earlier, she had gotten the 6 chicks who are the popular girl gang to come to her birthday party and bring the popular boys because where popular girls go, popular boys tend to follow. So wanted to bring them to the birthday party too. But instead of this being the moment, right, the time when Jenna becomes the 7th 6 chick, even though I think one of them says to her that's mathematically impossible because there's 6, there's not 7. Can't change the name of the gang of the girl
Can't be the
group.
seven. Can't be the 7 chick.
Right. That just doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't roll off the
And
tongue.
not like six chicks does. And along with that, all of her dreams of being cool come true, right? Because if she was able to become popular, she had all these, I want to be cool like them, right? It's actually turns out to be head mean girl Tom Tom tricking Jenna into thinking that Chris, who's the big man on campus, do they still say big man on campus?
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been on campus, so I don't know if they still say that.
Probably not. He's like the coolest guy. We'll just say that. So it's tricking Jenna into thinking that Chris, cool guy, is going to kiss her in a game of 7 minutes in heaven. But, of course, it's not Chris who opens the closet door, right? It's Maddie, her best friend from next door. And he's every bit a geek as she is. But the difference is that he is full on owns it. Right? I mean, for her birthday, he made her a Jenna's dream house, which I just have to say, that is so awesome sauce. That dream house, the attention to detail in that dream house, I would have been like, oh my God, Maddie, that I love you. I mean, that is just right. I mean, that dream house, I think we both kind of like looked at each other when that dream house popped up and was like, I'd already knew what was going to be in it, but what was your take on seeing that dream house?
I don't know. I guess it's just like, hopefully it's not too, he didn't pay too much attention to detail because is he a stalker? Is he like, I gotta make sure everything in this dream house is according to reality?
Well, no, it wasn't that. But I mean, because obviously Rick Springfield was in the dream house. So it
Right.
wasn't completely, but it was just so sweet
Oh,
how
yeah.
I mean, it definitely showed that he paid attention to the things that she loved the most, right? Because he's got
Right.
her like in the bathtub with bubbles, by the way, so it wasn't like inappropriate. And she's reading Poise magazine, right? Because he knows how much she loves that magazine. And she's, there's Rick Springfield in the next room or something. I can't remember what Rick Springfield was supposed to be doing in the next room, but anyway. So I just thought it was really great. And, she's not going to be into Maddie because she wants, to be with the popular kids. Plus, Maddie had it going on, man. Let's be honest. I mean, he was a photographer. He had like a great skill. I mean, he could take photos. He could play the little Casio. Right? He wrote songs. I mean, Maddie's like a catch, quite frankly. So, but anywho, it takes her a while to figure that out. So, but when Maddie tells her it's him, not Chris, and she removes that scarf blindfold, the look on her face, devastated, right? And also there's a bit of anger because she lashes out at Matt, blaming him for those popular kids leaving her party instead of realizing that these people are horrible and totally not worthy of her time or attention. And that's when she scoots back into the closet and repeats over and over again 30, flirty, and thriving, almost like it's a mantra, because that's the headline from an article she saw in Poise magazine. It reminded me of There's No Place Like Home. Both mantras are spoken by teenage girls who desperately want something better than what they have at that moment.
Yeah, it is very like Wizard of Oz.
Right? Because I think that's the thing about this movie is that, there are definitely scenes, don't get me wrong, where Jennifer Garner, who plays Jenna, channels her inner 13-year-old, right? When she's rolling up the fruit roll up on her finger and biting it off as she's sitting at the conference table during the staff meeting. I love that. It makes me want to rush out and buy fruit roll-ups. Drinking.
When's the last time you even had a fruit roll-up?
Oh my God. It had to have been when I would eat some of your fruit roll-ups.
I haven't had any since I was a kid.
Okay, so that's probably the last time I had them. I can't go in and just like buy fruit roll-ups, but I have to have like, there's a reason for it. But also she's like drinking from a juice box, right? I thought that was fine. Pinning her hair up with pencils, which I'm still trying to figure out how she even did that. Keeping Matt's photo slides, for her redesign campaign in a Mead brand pocket folders, which not Trapper Keepers now, right? The Mead brand pocket folders. I mean, that was a total blast from the past, right? So going back to the thing about this movie, it's not a one-trick pony. I mean, the screenwriters, Kathy Uspa and Josh Goldsmith, they could have written it as one long running gag. A 13-year-old becoming a 30-year-old. I mean, think of all the wacky things that she could get into. But that's not what happens. There's a scene when Jenna tracks down adult Matt, who is played by Mark Ruffalo, at his apartment. And she's surprised to find that they're not still best buds. She's looking through the yearbook and sees that she went to prom with Chris, right? Most popular guy. And she says something like, I got everything I ever wanted. Because at that moment, 13-year-old Jenna was in complete awe of what 30-year-old Jenna had accomplished. I mean, her life had turned out better than she could ever imagine. But it's only later, after she spent more time in that 30-year-old form, that she comes to the hard truth, right? I mean, she's plagiarized ideas. She's estranged from her parents. She's having an affair with a coworker's husband. And she actually tells Maddie something like, I'm not a nice person. She may have gotten everything she ever wanted, but at what cost? She's had to sacrifice who she is deep down. And that realization has her fleeing New York City for home to be with her parents. Because as we know, no one gives you unconditional love like your parents.
Aww.
I mean, right? And at the same time, no one will agree that your life's a hot mess like your parents. But even while they're agreeing with that, they have full confidence in you that you can change. So back in our family home on Spruce Street in New Jersey, that night it's raining and thundering, and she climbs into bed with her parents, curling up into her mom's arms. And I'm probably reading way too much into this, and I know that's a shock.
Right after I said the movie's not that deep.
Right. I'm deep diving into this movie. This movie is deep, but I think this shows how she's reaching for that comfort and safety that only parents can give. Not just from all those outside forces of the rain and the thunder and all of that, but what's happening inside her too, maybe. I don't know. But over breakfast the next morning, Jenna has that great conversation with her mom, who's beautifully played by Kathy Baker, where she asks her, if you were given one do-over in your life, what would it be? And her mom basically says she wouldn't change a thing. She has no regrets because she's learned from each moment of her mistakes. And I just think that's it's not something that we haven't heard before. That's not like revolutionary in this movie. Oh my God, we can learn from our mistakes. No regrets.
What?
Right?
Whoa.
Right? I mean, it's nothing like that, but I think it's just things that we still need to hear over and over again because it is true. And, speaking of learning, in the end, there are 3 life lessons I've taken away from this movie. 1, be careful what you wish for because you might actually get it. And 2, what seems at the time to be the worst thing ever could turn out to be the best. And 3, any problem can be solved with Pat Benatar and Michael Jackson's Thriller. So, we have to just give a shout out here to the Thriller dance scene. I mean, I think I actually, much to your chagrin, or maybe it was much to your horror.
A little bit of column A, a little column B.
I jumped up and was doing the dance at the same time that they were, because how can you not dance to the Thriller? I mean, it's just, you have to, right? I particularly liked how Andy Serkis jumped in and did it. Now, Andy Serkis, I mean, I think he's fabulous in everything he does. And I think he definitely is great in this movie too.
Man, I wish he wore the mocap suit during the thriller scene so we could have seen Gollum do the thriller dance.
That would have been a really interesting. Or what was the ape's name? Caesar?
King Kong. Oh, Caesar. Well, he also played King. He also mocap King Kong. But yeah.
Oh, did he?
Oh yeah, in the Peter Jackson King Kong remake.
Oh, I think I do remember that. Okay, but yeah, I'm thinking no, Caesar
from Planet of the Apes. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
that should have been a deleted scene in any of these movies.
But no, but I mean, but he did a great job in this movie. And of course, we have to also talk about how great Judy Greer is. I mean, she played the grown-up Tom Tom, whose name is Lucy, which I don't know how she got Tom Tom because Lucy has nothing to do with Tom. Maybe it's her last name. I don't know. I still don't know what Lucy's last name is, but
Lucy Thomason.
I know. I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, Judy Greer is awesome. I mean, she can play best friends, and then she could also turn around and play worst enemies, and you believe all of it. So, huge fan of hers.
Okay, so a couple of things. One, I just found out that apparently this movie is going to get a musical adaptation next summer.
What?
Or this summer, actually.
This summer, 2024?
This summer, 2024, there's going to be a musical adaptation of 13 Going on 30, written by Josh Goldsmith and Kathy Yuspa.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently, they even wanted to do this for like many years.
Okay, so basically, they are doing what? This is Mean Girls. They're following the template from Mean Girls. Is that what we're doing?
I guess, but apparently, and this is according to a Variety article I just found while we were talking, is going to have lyrics by Michael Weiner and Alan Zachary, who did the High School Musical, the series, and it's going to be directed by Andy Fickman, who also did the Heathers, the musical.
Okay, so they've got talented people who know what they're doing to actually create this musical. Well, all right, one more reason to go to New York.
Well, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's ripe for a musical adaptation, or do you think that it's unnecessary?
I mean, I think that it could be interesting. I don't know if I would want 13 Going on 30, the movie musical, but...
Oh, you know it's going to happen.
I know, it probably will. But I would like to at least see what they do with a musical version on Broadway.
You know, I just realized we still haven't gotten a Heathers, the musical, the movie.
Maybe there's a reason for that.
Maybe, but I don't know. I mean, that over the Mean Girls musical, really? Come on, people. Come on, Hollywood.
I don't know. I mean, Heathers is a little bit darker.
Right. And it's more of a cult hit than, I guess, Mean Girls.
Yeah. But I mean, again, if you haven't seen Heathers, oh my God, love that movie.
So does that. And also, a little fun fact, this movie has one of the earliest roles for Brie Larson. She was a nameless member of the Six Chicks, I think from the past, since she was pretty young back then.
Yeah, no, it is definitely, well, because we don't really see the Six Chicks grown up, except for Tom Tom, of course.
But I guess they're like, well, who cares about them? They split up. One of them's a lawyer now or something.
Right. They all went in their separate ways. But right, Brie Larson is one of the nameless Six Chicks.
But yeah, no, IMDb, she's just credited as Six Chick. So not even like the fourth Six Chick, or like the second one, just Six Chick. She's just a member, nothing else. So yeah, this movie has Hulk, Elektra, Captain Marvel, Ulysses Claw, and Maggie Lane all together.
Right? Oh my God. That is like just a little Marvel Cinematic Universe get together.
Well, when was Elektra? Elektra is the year after. Well, actually, Daredevil, when did that film come out? That was the same year, right?
Oh, it may have been. But yeah, but she basically started it because all the others for sure were after this movie.
Now, you're a big fan of this movie. When did you first see 13 Going on 30? I know it wasn't when it came out.
No, because it came out in 2004, right? And you were 6. So I didn't see it in the theater. Who had time? I had to have seen it on HBO. Again, I think HBO has been like my gateway for movies. I guess what really grabbed me, in addition to everything that I've already mentioned, is that I love Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo together. I mean, individually, I love them, but I really love them together too. And I'm a sucker for time travel movies, right? We've already talked about that. You had mentioned that earlier. I get that some people, though, don't like time travel stories because there's always that certain incongruity to it, right? An inconsistency, because you can't account for all the changes that would be made if someone traveled to another time. And I totally get that. But you know what? I don't care. If it's interesting characters and engaging story, who cares? I mean, I am totally there for it. I can suspend disbelief. You know, of course, my favorite time travel movie is Terminator. I know, right? Shock to you, I'm sure.
Massive shock. What? Really? Wow.
Right? But I liked how this handled the time travel element. And I guess I'm not the only one who enjoyed time traveling Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo, because they played the parents in another time travel movie, The Adam Project, with Ryan Reynolds. You know, the thing too is that I've always wondered when Jenna goes back to being 13, right? And she kisses Maddie and tells off Tom Tom, right? I mean, when they're on the stairs and she's like, you can be the pot and kettle all by yourself from now on. And she like tips, Tom Tom's glass or cup, and it like spills all over her dress. And then she's like, "Bitch," I mean, I love that scene. She obviously has retained her memories of when she was 30, because otherwise she wouldn't have been able to say any of that. So does she tell Maddie all about her time traveling adventures?
I'm not sure.
Know.
I guess that could be a safe for 13 going on 32.
Right. Or maybe that'll be answered in the musical.
Maybe. A whole number about like spoiling everything.
Right.
It does make me think though, if this does ever get a sequel, first off, I say first off a lot, but I have a lot of stuff in my mind at the moment. In your mind, do you think the Adam Project is like a sequel to this movie, like it's set in the same universe? Do you like to think that as like a fan theory?
I think I wouldn't mind it, but at the same time, I mean, their characters, Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo's characters, are completely different than Jenna and Maddie. So they would have to have completely changed as she came back in time and they grew up. They would have to have completely changed. So from that perspective, it really can't be, but it's interesting to kind of think about if maybe this was them in an alternative universe. What would have happened? Maybe. But no, it gives you something to think about, though.
And if there ever was a sequel, do you think that they would explore the time travel aspect more? Do you think it would go on full on like multiverse? It's like, this thing we barely touched upon in the first movie. Let's make that the main focus. Right. All of a sudden, it's like they explore all these different alternate timelines, and then it's like, what's going on? It becomes like Doctor Who, and maybe like Everything Everywhere.
Exactly.
I just want Jennifer Garner to go all Alias on Judy Greer in one universe, where she knows like her kung fu.
Right? Oh no, that would be pretty awesome to see.
So my last little fun question is, okay, if you were a friend of Jenna's, can you imagine having to deal with her shenanigans during this movie? How would you react if you had a friend like Jenna who woke up one day and acted like she had been in a coma for 17 years?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, Judy Greer plays that so amazingly because she's like kind of rolls with it, right? I mean, she kind of is like telling her, okay, like the scene where she knows something's up. First off, Judy Greer's character knows something is going on with Jenna. One, because she doesn't get into the car initially with her, saying that I don't get into a car with somebody I don't know. And then when they're at the bar and Judy Greer is telling her about like this guy that's kind of scoping her out. And then Jenna is like, oh, I'm going to go talk to him, right? And she walks up to like the child sitting in the booth saying, I think you're cute and you want to go out and everything. And then Judy Greer has to run over and grab her and say, what are you doing? You can't do that. I'm talking about the adult man standing, right there, not this kid sitting in the booth. So at this point, you do have to kind of wonder from Judy Greer's perspective is like, what the hell? Something's happening, but she kind of just rolls with it, I think, in a way that is just adds to the movie. Because if you
Right.
stopped, I mean, if she had stopped and like sat her down and said, okay, we got to really figure out what's going on with you, well, one, that would have slowed down the motion of the movie. And two, that would have completely, the movie relies on nobody really stopping and paying much attention to what she's telling them.
But what would you have done? Would you have said, what's going on?
Yes. Yeah, no, I would
Would you have
probably
like would you have like gotten her into therapy? It's like she started acting this way for no reason.
probably would have, but then again, Tom Tom slash Lucy isn't really Jenna's friend though, right? So I mean, she may have seen that as, oh, good, Jenna's going off the deep end, and I can like run in and steal all her ideas and take over as editor in chief. Or so with that, what is your pick?
My pick is a bit different than yours, yet is more similar than we both have thought. Now, you know me, I like my picks to stand out from yours, so I've chosen a horror movie, one that I haven't seen before until now, Happy Death Day. So the plot of Happy Death Day is as follows. Teresa Geldman, aka Tree, is a college student who is not a nice person. She is rude, dissuasive, unfaithful, pretty much the kind of person just about anybody would want dead. But one night, on her birthday, she encounters the Bayfield babyface killer who murders her. However, Tree instead wakes up to find herself repeating the same day. After getting murdered again, Tree discovers that she's reliving the exact same day over and over again. The day is starting anew every time she's killed. And working with her love interest Carter, she must uncover her killer and put a stop to them in order to see the next day. I didn't realize this, but it's the second time travel movie in this episode. And we didn't plan it, by the way. We were actually quite surprised.
Right? I mean, we didn't even realize it until we'd seen both movies. We actually saw both movies and we're just chatting, and then all of a sudden it literally like dawned on us at the same time that, oh my God, they both deal with time travel. It was like, how did we miss that? Until we were talking about it. What? So, what made you pick this movie?
Well, you picked your movie first. You're like, I'm picking 13 going on 30, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick the exact opposite. I want to choose a horror movie because birthdays are supposed to be happy, magical, cheerful, joyful. I want a good horror movie equivalent to that, a horror birthday. And I'm looking up online. So there really weren't many horror birthday movies out there, and Happy Death Day was one I've been wanting to see for a while since it came out. So I'm like, you know what? I'll finally give it a shot. And so yeah, that's how that's how it worked. That's how it happened.
So, what do you like best about this movie?
So first off, this movie is a unique take on the movie Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray, which the movie even acknowledges at the very end. It's one of many modern day horror movies. It takes a premise from an old comedy or drama and makes it a darkly comedic, self aware slasher movie. So, the movie's director and writer, Christopher Landon, he would go on to make Freaky, which is basically Freaky Friday if it were a horror movie. And just recently, last month, there was It's a Wonderful Knife, which is a Christmas themed slasher movie based on, well, I'll have you figure it out. So the point is that the movie takes this premise of being the same day over and over again and does something really interesting with it. And also of note is that after this movie, we end up getting stuff like Palm Springs and Boss Level, which are also unique takes on the Groundhog's Day formula.
Oh, I love Palm Springs.
They weren't horror movies. Palm Springs is more of a traditional rom-com, while Boss Level is more of an over-the-top action movie. But that same premise of like someone dying and we live in the same day over and over again. Now, when this movie came out in 2017, I remember thinking it was going to be yet another generic Blumhouse horror movie because they seem to only know how to market their horror movies as generic slashers with loads of jump scares. And it was PG-13, which for slashers, it might as well be for toddlers. Well, because the thing is with slasher movies, it's always like, how graphic can our kills be? Let's make the most twisted, messed up kills ever. And that requires gore, an R rating, or even better, no rating. But PG-13, when they try to do that, it doesn't work because you can't show too much blood, can't show too much of that. So there's no satisfaction in the kills.
Right. So you have to rely more on the story.
Right, and the characters, which a lot of slasher movies tend to not have.
Right.
Because because the gore is usually the crutch. It's like, well, we got these really bad characters, but we got this cool horror villain who like rips a guy's stomach apart, pulls intestines out, and uses them as dental floss.
Right. And then we don't really care about any of the characters except maybe the final girl.
So I thought, okay, yeah, whatever. Just is going to be just another one for the pile, just yet another filler movie that Blumhouse makes that gets no attention. But then it came out, and I read some reviews, and I was like, oh wait, it's a silly horror comedy that knows what it's doing. What is this? What's going on? And it actually has like good characters. And again, it's actually really funny. What? So yeah, I fell for the marketing because I thought it was gonna be bad, maybe gonna be lame, stupid. But no, it knows exactly what it is, and that's what I enjoyed about it. And it isn't afraid to go zany because it's a very
Right.
zany movie too.
Oh no, it totally is. Oh my God. I mean, there's a point where on one of the days that she's killed, she just walks out naked and walks across campus naked. Like she's not running, so it's not like she's streaking across campus. She's just walking. Of course, we don't see all of that because
Right,
it is
PG-13.
PG-13, but it's just like at some point she's like, this is just ridiculous that I have to repeat this day over. So it doesn't really matter because nobody's going to remember me doing this ever. So yeah,
Right.
zany.
Which granted, that usually is a part of these Groundhog Day movies. Like even the original, Little Bill Murray's like committing crimes and like acting like a total jerk to everybody because he knows people aren't going to remember this. I can do whatever I want because the day's just going to repeat itself. And also, what I like is that speaking of, this whole movie is a mystery. This whole time, Tree is wondering who is that that's trying to kill me because she has a lot of enemies. It's like it reminds me of Who Shot Mr. Burns from The Simpsons because it's a movie where anybody could be the killer. Tree's made so many enemies on campus, and she's not a pleasant person herself. So you're like, well, there's a lot of suspects. It could be anybody,
Right.
anybody who would want to kill her. And again, that's part of the humor is watching this unlikable person find out, like, why would someone want to kill me? But again, it's also the story of someone growing better. Which again, I know it's a lot of Groundhog Day stories. It's just that person develops into a better person. But anyway, I do want to talk about the making of this movie because this had a surprising development history when I didn't realize it was so complicated. So the movie was originally written by Scott Lobdell, who's a comic book writer that is controversial, so to say. I'm not going to go into too much detail on him, but he came up with this idea for a horror movie, a Groundhog Day style horror movie that he wrote back in the early 2000s under the title Half to Death, which I still don't know what that title means.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Does that mean like get cut in half to death? Is that like a time thing? Split in half?
Right. So it didn't have the birthday theme in his movie.
Right. Maybe it was a reference to something that got cut out. Anyway, so Christopher Landon, who at the time was also a horror screenwriter involved in writing a majority of the Paranormal Activity movies, plus Disturbia.
Oh, I like Disturbia.
Yeah, that's a good one. He was brought in to rewrite parts of the script. He added the romance angle between Tree and Carter in order to make her more sympathetic, and he added the whole birthday angle. So he's the reason why we're even talking about this movie on this episode in the first place.
Way to go, Christopher.
So the script was shopped around at several film studios until it landed in the lab of Michael Bay's Platinum Dunes production company in 2007. And it was set to be made with Megan Fox in the lead, which
yeah,
no,
I don't know about that.
But things didn't work out, and the film entered development hell for almost a full decade until Landon, by chance, had lunch with the movie's original producer, Angela Mancuso, many years later. Landon asked her whatever happened to the movie, Half to Death, and wouldn't you know it, Mancuso, who is now a producer at Blumhouse, decided to pitch the script to Jason Blum and the Blumhouse execs. Everybody loved the idea, and Landon got the call saying the movie was greenlit 3 days after that fateful lunch. And a little while later,
3 days? It only took 3 days?
2 to 3 days, according to Landon.
Wow.
And a little while later, after a title change, Happy Death Day finally came to be. And that's the story of this movie.
Wow. That is incredible. I mean, it just shows the serendipity of what can happen. You just never know.
Exactly. Like I said, a lot of screenwriting really is just fate and luck. Because again, if he didn't have that lunch with that executive, we may have never seen this movie.
I guess it's fate and luck and who you know.
Oh yeah, no connections. And again, hope that Landon, he had a resume. It wasn't like he was a complete nobody.
Exactly.
Now, what's interesting about this movie is that Blumhouse tend to be infamous for their cheap horror movies. I think like the budget at most is like 5 million. That's all you get. It's sort of like Roger Corman, where it's like, here's a small budget, make whatever you want, because you're given free control of whatever type of movie you want to make. Because it's the directors, it's the writers, they decide the rating of the movie as well. Because they're like, we want to make this PG-13 horror, we want to make this R-rated. Because as long as it doesn't exceed its $5 million budget, you should be good. And this movie had a $4.8 million budget.
Okay, so it came under.
And usually a lot of these Blumhouse movies tend to rely more on jump scares than general suspense and like good writing. Because it's easy. It's like, well, if we choreograph and telegraph this jump scare that anybody can see coming, people are still going to be scared by it. And boom, we got an audience of teenagers.
Because you got to have that teenage audience.
Right, because teenagers love the horror movies. These are the ones who like sneaking into R-rated movies to see like these bloody slashers.
Like I did when Halloween came out and I had to
exactly
sneak in to see it because I wasn't of age.
You were ahead of the curve.
I was.
But what I really enjoy about the movie is that it uses its small budget very well because it's a movie about repeating events. So they had like the same sets, they just repeating everything in a certain order. So I'm sure what happened is they've just reshot all the scenes like at once, all the repeat scenes like one after the other. Like when she wakes up in the her little dorm room at the very beginning, I'm sure they shot that like 20 times. Because they had to make the most use of these sets as possible. And again, it works. It's really cool how they did this movie. Now, I want to get into the ending, which is where it gets really interesting. So the killer in the original script was a duo, kind of like Scream. It was initially Tree's roommate, Laurie, and Dr. Gregory Butler, who was Tree's professor, whom she's secretly having an affair with in return for good grades. They would have been a twisted evil couple, though I don't know why Butler wanted to murder her. Maybe so she wouldn't tell anybody, like his wife, about their affair.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's weird.
Anyway, Landon decided to keep Laurie the killer and instead make Butler a red herring, which I think it was for the better. And I bring all this up because one thing I like about this movie is the ending. Now, normally in a horror movie, everything looks like it's back to normal and the protagonist can relax, but then the bad guy shows up from nowhere to kill the main character. Cue credits. Not the biggest fan of those types of endings because it feels like the movie was a waste of time. It's like, oh, they got out of the way? No, Scary, right?
Right.
Oh, I feel cheated.
Right.
I'm angry. But the movie does not end on that note. It actually provides nice closure, and Tree ends up getting what she wants for the most part. But crazily enough, that wasn't how the movie was actually meant to end. Because the originally shot ending was very different. So the previous ending still had Tree's roommate, Laurie, as the killer. But then after killing her, Tree finds out that Dr. Butler's wife, whom we only saw once in the first act, found out about the affair, and then she kills Tree. Tree either permanently died right there, or the cycle begins once anew. Cue credits. It didn't go over well with test audiences, so we got the new ending, which I think was a good call, because no Tree means no sequels. So from a business perspective, it also worked out fine.
Well, I think it's an interesting choice, making it be not the killer that ends up alive in this movie, but actually, the victim.
Right. And this did get a sequel, Happy Death Day 2 You, which came out in 2019. I haven't seen that movie yet, but interesting little story. When I was in college, I was taking a film class, and a representative of Universal came to my class to pass out little flyers inviting us to an early screening of Happy Death Day to You, which I unfortunately did not go to because one, I hadn't seen the first movie. So I was like, this is probably going to confuse the hell out of me when I see this. Also, I had work that night. So I was like, I couldn't make it anyway.
Now we have to see it.
Right. Also, that has a $9 million budget. Instead, they doubled.
Wow.
Ooh. And a third movie is currently in development hell because Landon's busy with other stuff, like quitting the new Scream movie.
Speaking of Scream, right?
And apparently it's up to Universal to, because again, Universal, they own Blumhouse. Like all Blumhouse movies are distributed by Universal. It's up to Universal to declare the green light because, as Landon said, he's up for it. The lead actress playing Tree, she's up for it. Everybody's up for it. It's just, are they going to be given the okay? Which I hope. I mean, I don't have an opinion on the second movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I like this world. I like the characters. Apparently, they do explore a bit of the time warp thing in the second movie because they don't explain it in the first movie. It's just a thing that happens.
Right. Huh. Interesting. I mean, I'm all yes, 3.
Yeah, let's go 3. So, Mom, what are your thoughts about the movie? What do you think about it?
Honestly, I thought it would be like Happy Birthday to Me, which is a 1981 slasher movie starring Melissa Sue Anderson from Little House on the Prairie in her film debut. And if you haven't seen it, which is completely understandable, it's about a teenage girl at a private school who's dealing with the aftermath of a serious car accident where her mom died and she suffered extensive brain injuries. As it nears her 18th birthday, her friends are being murdered. And so it's like, who is the killer who is clearly set out on ruining her birthday party?
No, I didn't know you'd seen that movie because I was like, oh, this movie. Mom's probably not going to want to see it because it looks pretty shitty. And then it's like, oh, you've seen it already?
And your thought is right. I mean,
what made you want to see that?
Right. I mean, I saw it again. I think it was like late night. I'm up. I'm like, this is what's on. I'll go ahead and watch this. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. This is, so basically, I thought that Happy Death Day was going to be similar to Happy Birthday to Me. So I thought it was going to be a totally ridiculous, yet maybe, I don't know, like fingers crossed, that it would be like an interesting, semi-interesting, a little bit slasher movie like Happy Birthday to Me. Only it wasn't anything like that. I mean, it was actually good. There are a few things that I particularly liked about Happy Death Day. First, in the beginning, like you said, Tree's a bitch. I mean, let's just call it. She's a bitch. She's yelling at Carter, even though he took care of her drunk ass. I mean, she throws the cupcake. Her roommate Lori made her in the trash. Carbs. Like she's not going to eat carbs. I mean, she's not nice the entire day to the point where at the end of that day, like you were saying, when she ends up dead, you're like, good riddance. I mean, she's like, yay, But then every day she goes through the cycle again, she gets nicer. I mean, it does become a little more zany, like you're talking about, and she's doing things. But in the end, she also becomes nicer so that after the 7th, 8th time she's murdered, you're rooting for her to get to Tuesday, which is the next day. I think a perfect example of how she changed is when she's talking to Danielle, the sorority's president. And she's telling her that in this go around of her day, that she like hooked up with a really nice guy named Carter. And that if she ever makes it through this day, she's going to have his babies. Now, let me just tell you right now, women do not run around just yelling, I'm going to have somebody's babies. Okay. That is not a thing that we do. So those words told us everything we need to know about her feelings for Carter. Right. And how they've grown and just how much her feelings have changed and how much she's changed over the time loop, how much she's grown as a human being. Also, I really liked the ending. In most horror movies, the killers typically kill out of revenge for some perceived injustices in their past. Right. And that's pretty much the motive for Lori. Right. At the last go around, right? Tree's screaming at Lori, why do you want to kill me? And Lori basically says it's because she wants to have an affair with Dr. Butler, but all he can see is Tree. He's obsessed with her, according to Lori. But what makes this different, right? What makes this stand out in a good way, for me anyway, is that it's Tree's reaction to this. So instead of trying to placate the killer, which is typically what they do, right? Like, oh no, I'm not, he's yours, take him. I never really was into him that much, trying to get them to not kill you. So instead of trying to do that, she steps back incredulous and is like, you want to kill me over some guy? Are you freaking kidding me with that? Because it's PG-13. Are you freaking kidding me with that? I mean, seriously, she's like, and this, cheating loser, you're killing me over that. So I wish that more final girls would push back like that, quite frankly, and call those killers on their ridiculous reasons for running around stabbing people, kind of shame them into like, are you kidding me? Shame on you. You shouldn't be trying to kill me for that. Think of something better. If I'm going down, you better have a damn good reason for why you want to kill me. That I really enjoyed about this one too. And I just want to give a shout out to one other scene. Okay. This happens near the end. It turns out it's near the end because originally we think it is the end.
Just the fake out ending.
Right. This is the fake out ending. And there's a shot of Tree and Carter sitting across from each other on the dorm room floor. And there's a window behind them, and it's dark outside, and it's also dark inside. And the only light coming from the one candle stuck in the cupcake that Lori had made her. And I think I even like screamed or like jumped up or I did something. I was like, oh my God, that's the last shot from 16 Candles. I was like, whoa. So just like Sam and Jake, it's a very sweet scene until we find out it's not actually the last scene, because then she ends up dead again, because then she comes back the next day and then we realize who the real killer is. But I also read somewhere that this scene shot like 16 Candles, it goes beyond just an homage to that movie, that because by this point, Tree has died 16 times. And each day she's given the cupcake with one candle on it. So by the time the scene comes around, she's been given the cupcake 16 times, 16 candles. So it's a cute little wink to anyone who, like, I guess, kept up with how many times the tree died, which makes me want to go back now and actually watch, because I read this and I'm like, oh, that's kind of clever. So I want to go back now and kind of watch and count each time she died to make sure, is this really 16? But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh yeah. And again, like we brought up 16 Candles earlier, how it is the queen of not horror movies, of birthday movies.
It depends on your stance on romance.
Yeah, birthday movies. So I think it's cool. Like, yeah, this movie did pay tribute to the queen of birthday movies, 16 Candles.
Exactly. And the thing about these two movies is that they obviously could not be more different, right? I mean, they're different genres. There's different tones, there are different stories completely, right? The birthday was much more prominent in Happy Death Day than it was in 13 Going on 30, where the birthday in that movie was the inciting incident, but it wasn't like Jenna leaped into her 30-year-old self on her birthday, right? Jenna's birthday isn't a thing when she's 30. But yet neither movie would work without the birthday theme, because, birthdays are special days when possibilities are endless, right? Anything can happen on a birthday because of the wish. You get a wish, right? I mean, you don't get a wish on your anniversary. The day you graduate, people wish you well. They wish you good luck moving forward with your life. But you don't get a wish on the day you graduate. On Christmas, 4th of July, there's no holiday where it's baked in that you get a wish. These movies, I think, do a great job of keying in on what makes birthdays so special, the wish. And I hope that you, sweet boy, and everyone listening get their birthday wish this year.
Thanks, Mom. And on that note, thank you guys so much for listening to our second bonus episode. We hope you've enjoyed it. Be on the lookout for our third bonus episode coming on February 14th. Until next time.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review.
And as always, you can head over to talkingmovieswithmymom.com to sign up to our email list, as well as check out all the links and resources from today's episode in the show notes. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.